It's Under the Lights on the CW. Brought to you by Dairy Queen, Alta Federal Credit Union, Heat 9 Associates, Palshay Chevrolet, and Alti Sudlink.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us under the lights for our Week 2 edition. I am Johnny Condon. I am joined by Tina Wynn, and we are excited to jump into the action of the Week 2 East Texas high school football schedule. Tina, you spent a couple weeks on the beat now. How you feeling?
Hey, it's been great. I'm super excited for Week 2 and for the rest of the season, so let's get to it.
We'll look forward. Not only are we looking forward to the rest of the season, we're looking forward to our game of the week.
All right, well, we'll kick things off here under the lights with, of course, our game of the week, and we'll send it out to Henderson now at Lions Stadium, as Henderson is taking on Pleasant Grove, and here they are taking on Pleasant Grove running out, and here are the Henderson Lions. We talked about that Lions defense earlier, and they were on it earlier tonight, making some big stops. There we go. All right, now, later on in the first quarter, 4th and long here as Ben Harmon finds J.J. Hicks for the big first down here. That's a huge one for the Hawks. Still in the first, Harmon will give this one off to Hicks again, and he rolls left and will find the end zone. Hawks would strike first 7-0. But it didn't take long for the Lions to respond as Caleb Medford finds Saul Quintilla, as he will, check this out, dodge a couple defenders and tiptoe it down the sidelines before being taken out of bounds. And then just 2 plays after, Lions in the red zone as Medford spins, fakes a handoff, and he will find the end zone himself. Lions tie it up at 7 with the Hawks, and then this would be final 40-7, and Pleasant Grove would take this one.
And I'll tell you right now, Pleasant Grove, one of the best teams, not just all of East Texas up in Texarkana, but one of the best teams in Texas, because I tell you right now, Henderson, they had their way with Whitehouse last week, and they looked pretty strong, looked pretty good, but Texarkana comes into deep East Texas, and they get a big win. So let's head over to the Rose Stadium now for the Battle of Lake Tyler, as the Whitehouse Wildcats we were just talking about, taking on the new-look Chapel Hill Bulldogs, and check out these uniforms. These are gorgeous. First-year head coach Jeff Reardon got a big win out in Crandall last week as the Bulldogs rolled. Head coach Marcus Gold, he's in his second year as the head man of the Wildcats. So the Bulldogs, they win the toss, and they take the ball. And on the first play from scrimmage, Rice commits Kalen Griffin. Well, the only thing he commits right there is a fumble. Whitehouse has the ball, and they're going to want to turn that turnover into points. So on the first play of the game, beautiful touchdown. Caden Casey's going to look off the safety and find Skylar Trevino, and he'll drag a defender into the end zone. And just 2 plays into this one, it's 7-0. Later on, it's more Kalen Griffin, and it's more fumbling. Uncharacteristic for one of the best players in all of East Texas. But his defense, they would pick him up. Casey looking to go back to the air, but this ball doesn't have enough on it, and it's picked off by Arshel Yates. The senior corner comes up with the big INT in Chapel Hill. They gain a little momentum, and they'd ride that all the way down to the 6-yard line until Kobe Coker is looking for 6. Instead, he's picked off after the ball was batted down to the line by Jack Clark. He falls down at the 2-yard line. So now the Wildcats, they're backed up in their own end zone. It doesn't matter. Casey will throw the fade route to Trevino. He high points that ball, and he could go all the way. Touchdown, Wildcats. He's going to go 98 yards for the score. We're going to have to check in the record books this weekend, but I can make a educated guess that's probably a school record, something former Wildcat Patrick Mahomes would be proud of. Skylar Trevino, he would have over 125 yards receiving in just the first quarter alone, and they win this tight one, a high-scoring affair, 46-39.
All right, well, this wasn't our game of the week, but it was our second game of the week as Matt Turner and his 6th-ranked Gilmer Buckeyes are coming off a 47-26 win against the Atlanta Rapids in their season opener. Tonight, they went on the road looking for a road victory against the Van Vandals. Now, let's take you out to Van, where the Buckeyes are getting pretty pumped for this one.
Hey there, Johnny and Tina. Both of these teams 1-0 coming into tonight, but as we've already seen, Gilmer and their high-powered offense came out on top. The Gilmer offense showed their 47-point performance against Atlanta last week was no fluke by finishing with over 40 points for a second week in a row. These two teams went back and forth in the first quarter, but the momentum fully shifted in Gilmer's direction when they were able to capitalize on 2 key turnovers in the second quarter. The first being the Gilmer defense would make a heads-up play, intercepting Van quarterback Jaden Moffitt. Later in the quarter, a pooch kick Van failed to recover. They would proceed to turn that into points as well and go into the half with all of the momentum. And guys, something else to be noted here tonight. Senior running back for Gilmer, Darrell Bush, had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half alone tonight before tweaking his ankle in the second half. The coaching staff assures me he's going to be all right. But if I was giving out an unofficial Tim Wolf player of the game tonight, it would be Bush. In Van, Tim Wolf, CBS 19.
And what were you saying about Van earlier? We know how good they are defensively, and to have Gilmer go in and stomp them like that. I mean, what was your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. I mean, for one thing, Gilmer, I feel like they're kind of like the dark horse this season. You know, after suffering their first losing record 20 in 23 years. I mean, they had a second win last season, so I'm excited to see how they will go.
I'm calling it the revenge tour. They're absolutely going to roll. What else we got? Speaking of a roll, we're on a roll here at CBS 19. So let's check out the Bullard Panthers and the Spring Hill Panthers. Is the Panther Bowl, Tina. What's going on here?
Yeah, and they're taking on Spring Hill Panthers, and let's get right to it. Bullard quarterback Tristan Shoemake gets the snap, and he will keep this one as it is stripped by the Spring Hill defensive lineman Casey Moodle, and the ball ends up in the hands of Spring Hill linebacker Vincent Rockwell. Springhall with the ball in the red zone, quarterback Gage White with the snap, and he's immediately met at the line of scrimmage, and another fumble recovery by Bullard linebacker Caden Key, and then just later on.
Beautiful touchdown. Nonetheless, Gage White, as you saw earlier, found his man into the end zone. But later on, Bullard quarterback Tristan Shoemake, he's going to scramble right, and he connects with his wide receiver Dalen Later, who was brought down at the 1-yard line, but it wouldn't much matter. I'll tell you right now, this Panther Bowl, this is one of the most physical games in all of East Texas they'll play all year, and it's 36-28. That is a win for the Bullard Panthers. And right now, at this very moment, you can watch the next installment of our CBS 19 original docu-series, Pride, All Hail Spring Hill, brought to you by East Texas Professional Credit Union and John Fraser Allstate. This week's episode is currently up at both our website at cbs19.tv and the CBS 19 YouTube page. Let's check out Gladewater taking on Atlanta. Had some issues trying to get some of these plays in, but let's check out right now, right off the bat, Atlanta looking like the Dirty Birds themselves. Number 12 is going to streak down the sideline, and he is into the end zone. The Rabbits, they fell last week to Gilmer. They would not be denied. They trail by a point there. Later on, it's revenge of the Bears. Gladewater, the big running back, hurling his way down for the first down. You got to absolutely love what Gladewater is going to do this year. They're going to do big things. Looking forward to that Gladewater and Gilmer game, one of the best rivalries ever. And the Bears, well, we'll check out that score a little later on. Overton and Union Grove now. Lions dancing up a storm with his team up 23-0. Nothing in the second half. Let's check out Overton quarterback Cole Marshall. He keeps it up the middle for the first down. Later in the drive, Logan Poteet takes the pitch and carries it into the end zone. Nothing petite about that. And the Mustangs, they get their first points. It's Union Grove 23, Overton 6. Next play, it's fumble. Lions are all over it, however. Union Grove quarterback Chase Meade hands off to Matthew Bauer. Looking like Jack Bauer, 24. Straight up the field to the 1-yard line. They needed to make it once again into the end zone. The extra point is good. And the Lions, they go up 30-0. They go on win by a score. Union Grove, 37-6. How about Scotty LeMans, 2-0 in his head coaching debut? And we're not going to want you to go anywhere because we're just getting started here on Under the Lights. We're going to have so much more East Texas high school football action, including those Marshall Mavericks paying a visit to the defending state champion Longview Lobos. All that and more right after the break. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks so much for sticking with us today at the CW on Under the Lights. Well, our East Texas Professional Credit Union Player of the Week is someone that knows a little something or two about hitting hard. He's the Longview Lobos middle linebacker Tyshawn Taylor, and he's our Player of the Week.
Life's been good for the Longview Lobos in the last calendar year. They broke an 81-year state title drought, they participated in a championship parade, and they even had themselves a ring ceremony. With all the excitement from a season ago, you may think turning the page to 2019 may be difficult. Well, don't tell that to Longview senior linebacker Tyshawn Taylor, who's our Week 1 East Texas Professional Credit Union Player of the Week. In Longview's Week 1 primetime opener against Lufkin, Taylor proved why he's the unquestioned leader of the Lobo defense.
I don't know, you just go out there with a mindset, ready to fight, because Lufkin, like you said, Lufkin is a big, competitive team, man. We just have to come out there with a mindset and fight hard back. We got a big target on our back this year.
And that's a target that Taylor openly welcomes. The Hunters are now the hunted. But despite getting their opponent's best shot week in and week out, Tyshawn plays his technique and accepts coaching.
My coaches taught me, like I said, fight for each other. They taught me how to be a man and just, be myself as I do it.
And just being himself was more than enough last Friday night down in Lufkin. Taylor racked up 14 tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss in the Lobos' 24-21 win.
Tyshawn's a good football player. He's got a great awareness for the football, and he can go tackle it when somebody has it, But he made a ton of plays, ended up with 14 tackles and probably 5 tackles or sacks behind the line of scrimmage. So, just a big night out of him.
And Taylor isn't just a leader in the locker room with his Lobo teammates. He's also a leader in the community and acknowledges his responsibility as a role model for younger children in the city of Longview, and he's humbled by the attention that he's received in his hometown.
It's a blessing. For one, I want to thank God. I never had this when I was a child, so come here and do this and put smiles on kids' faces is just an honor to be blessed. Not as a Lobo, but as a student, just to do this and see that makes me happy. So I enjoy it. I really do.
Incredibly deserving Tyshawn Taylor, one of the mainstays on the Longview defense that, of course, led themselves the way to win a state championship last year at AT&T Stadium. Everyone talks about Longview's defense, and that's well noted, but of course, we can't discuss the Lobos without discussing quarterback Haynes King, and I know you're excited as a Texas A&M Aggie. He's going down to College Station. Yeah. Talk about what makes Longview tick offensively.
I think, he's king. What them tick offensively. He's a guy that has got a great arm. He's a dual threat quarterback. But one thing you mentioned was that Longview defense, and I kind of want to elaborate more on that. Last week against Lufkin, we saw that defense step up in really crucial moments. And I'm sure Tyshawn Taylor had a really big
14 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. He was all over the field, and that's why he's deserving of our East Texas Professional Credit Union Player of the Week.
Look at that. Hey.
But nonetheless, when we look at Longview moving forward, their big test was against Lufkin. So we're now going to look at their newest game against the Marshall Mavericks. Marshall quarterback DeMarcus Williams on the QB keeper. And there's Tyshawn Taylor right on cue. Our player of the week last week you just saw. Later, we're talking about Haynes King. And these throws right here is why he's going to play Division I college football for Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies. He finds Caius Moore to pick up that first down right there. Later, they can run the ball a bit in Longview too. This is Caden Meredith. Fast as all get out. 29 yards into the end zone, and it's 7-0 Lobos. Longview again. King again. He finds Moore again. He's got the first down. Oh, and that's going to set up this. Going to give it off to Jaden Williams, and he is not even going to be touched. Into the end zone, 14-0. The Lobos embarrass their state rival, 53-0.
All right, let's head to Pine Tree and hear the cheerleaders cheering on in the student section as well. And Pittsburgh deep back as Pine Tree would get the stop and would actually force a punt right here, taking them down. And then Pine Tree DJ Freeman, he will find Gabe Adams right here. Check this out. For the touchdown, Pine Tree trails 28-17. And then here we go, 4th down for Pittsburgh as Kimarion McCain stopped in the backfield. In 4th quarter now, Pine Tree's Freeman rolls and passes to Keelan Turner. Pine Tree still trailing 28-24. They are trying to make a comeback as Pittsburgh Jackson Ramsey passes to Primoris Morris down the sideline, pushed out of bounds. After a big game, Jackson Ramsey hands it off right here to Braden Bolton, who gets the edge and, check this out, Johnny, into the end zone. Pittsburgh would take this one 42-30.
Liberty Arlo Carthage now. Leopards with a nice inflatable bulldog there. Now Mason Courtney with the helmet popping, hits to Carton Eaton. 2 plays later, it's going to be Mason Courtney again. Bulldogs right up the middle, and it's 7-0 Carthage. Like Gilmer, they are on the revenge tour themselves. They want to get back to the state championship game. Braden Wade here, it's going to be a big run. Watch him juke one man. A little baby stiff arm there. I don't need you no more. Gets to the edge. Tiptoes on the sideline, out of bounds. That was a beautiful play. Now Kai Horton is going to find Quentin Owens wide open in the end zone. 14-0 Carthage. They go on to get the big win, 49-7.
All right. Well, coming up next, Under the Lights, our Week 3 Whataburger Coach of the Week has a story unlike any other so far, and you don't want to miss it. That and more Friday Night Lights highlights coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Under the Lights. I'm Tina Nguyen. Well, our next Whataburger Coach of the Week has a story that's been unlike any of the other ones we've told so far. Football coach of the Lindale Eagles, Chris Cochran, is pretty used to being called coach. However, it wasn't until recently that he added another title to his name, and he shares his story with us. He's often known as a son, a husband, and as the head football coach at Lindale High School. But for Chris Cochran, he's longed to be known for something else.
There's not a day that goes by that I, pull up out here that I dread walking in here. I love it. I love getting to be called coach, and just making an impact on young people.
Being called coach is nothing out of the ordinary for Cochran. However, it was one simple phone call in April of 2019 that would add another title to his name.
So my wife got the phone call first, and she called. She gave me the news, and like I said, it takes my breath away to even think about it. And I was like, "Is this an April Fool's joke?" And she said, "It's not."
Chris and Lindsay Cochran had just gotten the news that their adoption papers were finalized. The couple already had a family on the field, but back at home, they were looking to grow a family of their very own.
Me and my wife, Lindsay, we weren't able to have kids up to this point, and so we wanted to do the adoption thing and went through Christian Homes, heard of it here in Tyler. They base out of Abilene. We got that paperwork finalized last January. In April, we got a phone call. It's just it's a cool deal, to get to be able to adopt our baby, and his name is Kobe Tate. And so he was born in June. We got to be there for the birth, and we brought him home 48 hours later.
The lessons he's learning as dad has helped shape him under the Friday Night Lights as coach.
But I've always heard, when you have your own kids, it gives you a different perspective. You also learn that little guy is depending on you, for what he needs. And again, that kind of gives you a little bit different perspective, on life, because, I have an opportunity to love these young men that are in this locker room and on that field, and I have that opportunity every single day, and so I want to make sure that I'm doing that.
What was once viewed as a setback is now a blessing in disguise.
Just something that when you look back, it's like you can see God's hand on it, 100%, so really cool.
Yeah, Johnny, well, that one was definitely a special one to share. And Coach actually teared up a couple times talking about it.
We wouldn't put that in there, though.
Yeah, but you could definitely tell how much of an impact that has had on him as a coach as well. So it was really cool. And thank you for him for sharing that with us.
Fantastic guy, fantastic coach. I'm sure he's going to be a fantastic dad. So we have some more great East Texas high school games today. Let's start with West Rusk. The Raiders, they led in the first half against the Wascom Wildcats all the way out there near Louisiana. Quarterback Josh Reeves drops back to pass and throws to number 6, Zay Thomas. He's going to get that Wildcat into scoring position. Now, the Raiders, they're going to stop the Wildcats not once, not twice, but 3 times, but it still wasn't enough as Wascom. They're going to punch it in and get the score. Second, third, fourth effort. Never give up, folks. But the Raiders, they get a little revenge here during the snap for the extra point. He's going to get tackled, no good, and that would go down to West Rusk. They hold on to the lead going to halftime, and they would win this one by a score of 35-19.
All right, let's send you out to Sabine, where they are hosting Shelbyville. Here's the Dragons taking on. All right, starting second half, here's Sabine quarterback Landon McKinney. He will hand it off to B.J. Stidham, who jukes the defense and will take it right up the middle for a 30-yard run, and that would set them up for an easy 2-yard touchdown for Landon McKinney. Sabine is up 28-7 there, and then Shelbyville can't answer, so it's Sabine again as McKinney all over the field, keeping this one for himself, and he'll take it 15 yards to the house. And hey, Johnny, Sabine would run off with this one, 47-7.
Kind of a blowout there. Look at Sabine starting the season right. New Diana, they went out to Whitehouse looking to stay undefeated with a victory over the Roughnecks, looking for their first win of the season. This one started off slow offensively, but the D-line bringing the heat. That's Sam Dusk and Riley Reedon with the joint sack there. But wait, the very next play, another sack, this one from Tanner McKinney. New Diana answering back, however. Zane Freeman right through the middle for New Diana's first touchdown of the game. But that led to many as this would ran off on this one. New Diana, they get the win 34-14.
All right, Johnny, let's head out to Harmony, and here are the Eagles taking the field. First play from scrimmage, Elysian Fields. Tony Mason with the handoff. And he will blast up the middle, makes a few moves right here and picks up 35 yards. But they would fumble in the next play and Harmony takes over. Eagles quarterback Gage Goddard rolls out the sidearms. Ball to Jarrett Langford for the first down. Later in this drive, Isaac Edwards takes the handoff and bowls his way down to the 1-yard line. That would lead to a touchdown. And then, sadly, a missed extra point. Harmony takes the lead here, 6-0. The Yellow Jacks in possession. Chris Smith takes the handoff and weaves his way up the field into Eagle territory. Later on, Ryan Wilkinson finds Hayden Parker right here inside the 10. And then it's Wilkinson faking the handoff and walking in for the touchdown. Extra point, no good, and the game is tied. At 6 apiece, Elysian Fields would take this one 41-38.
That was a tight one. Now, don't go anywhere because after the break, we're going to take a look at some more scores from across East Texas. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Under the Lights on the CW. Hey everybody, welcome back to Under the Lights here on the CW. Thanks for staying up late with us. Well, we showed you some great games from across East Texas so far, but the ones that we weren't able to get out to, we're going to let you know what the score was. Brook Hill, they blanked their opponent last week, unfortunately. Brook Hill, the Guard, they fall 42-10. How about Grace? Oh my goodness, the Cougars keep putting up points. They beat Redwood in a shootout. Over 100 points scored in that game, 70-38. Let's check out All Saints, the air raid that they were telling us so much about that they were going to run over there on the West Loop. They take down Hawkins by a score of 38-27. And Sulphur Springs, they fall to Lovejoy by a score of 34-27. Lindale, we just had head coach Chris Cochran on. He was our Whataburger Coach of the Week, and he likes putting up donuts, goose eggs, zeros. They blank 40-0. How about Mount Pleasant? They go over to North Lamar and just lay a hurting on them, 45-14. Lufkin, they were mad after losing to Longview just a week ago. So now they go a little north to Nacogdoches, and the Dragons, well, they didn't want any of Lufkin's smoke. Panthers get a huge bounce-back win, 44-0. And Rusk in Athens, this is a really good game by two competitive teams that are evenly matched, and it's the Hornets at home at Bruce Field. They take down Rusk by a score of 28-16.
All right, Johnny, let's keep this one going. In Palestine hosting Jacksonville tonight.
Ooh, that was a great one. Wow.
Jacksonville 49-48 here, and then Mineola taking on Canton. Canton would take this one 20-27. Seems like these both were close games.
Barn burners.
All right, next one, Jefferson taking on Center, and Jefferson would take this one 51-28, and then Winona hosting Eustis, they would take it 37-23. Fairfield taking on the Brownsboro Bears, and that would be 14-6 Fairfield, and then Camp taking on Maybank. Oh, complete shutout. Maybank would take this one 48-0. And then Malakoff hosting Rains. Holy cow, 76-7.
That's a lot of points.
And then White Oak hosting New Diana. New Diana would take this one 34-14.
We saw that one earlier. Look at that. Now we're going to check out Queen City in Winsboro. A lot of points being put up here in Week 2 in East Texas. Winsboro, they get the win 57-15. And Albagolda, Big Sandy puts a heart on them 60-34. Arpin, Hugh Springs, it's 30-8. Hugh Springs gets the win. Elysian Fields and Harmony, we saw that one earlier. Just to remind you, Elysian Fields gets the win. Frankston, Elkhart gets the win. And Grand Saline and Palmer, they get crushed 55-14. Troop, they bounce back with a win over Carlisle 33-23. And Alto, they go into Timpson and they lay the hurting 45-0.
And then Mount Enterprise taking on Cushion tonight. Enterprise would take this one 32-16, and then Crockett hosting Garrison. Garrison would take this one 38-32, and then Beckville hosting West Sabine. West Sabine would take it 44-41, and then Lovelady hosting Tenaha. Tenaha would take this one 47-0.
And as they say, and if you don't know, now you know. While the Tyler Lee Red Raiders are coming off one of the biggest wins in recent memory, as Kurt Traylor's bunch went into Marshall to defeat the favorited Mavericks despite a lengthy weather delay a week ago tonight. But the celebration didn't last long as they used this extra day of preparation to get themselves ready for their crosstown rivals. Look for the Red Raiders to continue to ground and pound the football, and Coach Traylor knows, well, he's ready for this big rivalry game.
How much? Before my first game here, I got a phone call from Danny Long, who used to be the athletic director here at TISD. He said, "Big boy," he said, "you're fixing to be in one of the biggest games you'll ever be in." And I said, "Danny, I played in some state championship games." He goes, "Nah, you'll see." And after that first game that we played, JT, it's like everybody plays 10 miles per hour faster. The ball's being thrown harder. the pace of the game's faster, the crowd's louder, you know, the lights are brighter. So it's huge.
And Tina's going to have highlights of that game, the Rose City rivalry, tomorrow at Rose Stadium.
Should be a good one.
I'm Johnny Condon.
I'm Tina Nguyen.
Thanks for joining us on the CW. Have a great night.